Hey guys, it's Matt from LimaCharlie here today to talk to you about a brand new feature that we've come out with called BinLib or binary library. This is a really new feature, awesome capability we've got within LimaCharlie here. Binary library is the collection of data and metadata pertaining to executables that we observe inside of an organization. Now, this is a cross-platform tool, which means whether it's an EXE or an ELF or some other type of executable file, and we see it running in your environment, we're going to reach out and grab data from that executable, the data itself, and then metadata about it, and store that in a library that you can reference at a future time. This is a really, really cool feature. It allows you to build a little private repository of executables in the environment and then go and search through them at a later date for all sorts of purposes. First and foremost, this is the BinLib screen, as you can see right here. Really straightforward. We've got a few different capabilities in here. I want to talk to you about a few of them. First off, we've got a really basic just check hash. You can bring in an MD5, a SHA-1, or a SHA-256. I've got one on hand here to see, has this thing been seen or observed in my environment before? It's a really quick search that come back and says, yep, yes, I have. And we're able to look at the different hash data for that particular executable. We can also go and grab hash metadata for that particular file that was grabbed when it was first observed. So I'll use that exact same SHA-256, go and grab metadata, and we can see that this file, it belongs to Microsoft Corporation. It was observed in our environment, and we're going to grab additional details such as the company name, the file description, product name, signature information if it's there, PE type, the file size, and you might also notice we also grab the import hash as well. The really nice part about grabbing all these different details is it lets you search through all the different binaries inside of your environment with a number of different criteria, again, helping you track down some malicious files, or perhaps you're looking for files of a certain type, malicious or not. Lots of metadata fields here to search on, which makes it super valuable. If you don't know a hash, but instead you want to search for things that may have popped up in your environment, that's where the search option is going to come into play. This is where you can search through any of the metadata fields that I've talked about before. And you might also notice we also have tagging included in here as well. And this is a super useful feature because it gives you the ability to come back and tag something and say, hey, this is a known good or this is a known bad, and then utilize tagging as a future pivot point in the future. In this case right here, I'm just going to make a really, really simple search. We're going to search for company name, and I'm going to say where company name equals Microsoft Corporation. And I'm guessing we're going to get quite a lot of hits for this one because there's a lot of Microsoft inside of a Windows environment, which is one of these sample systems we've got here. I'm going to limit it to 50 hashes and only 50 hashes. And we'll kick off a quick search to see just what comes back. Now, of course, we've got all sorts of details provided here because there's going to be quite a lot of Microsoft files observed in our environment. But imagine if you could go a step further and look for things that are non-standard, or perhaps you've got some information, threat intelligence about a piece of malware or other product information. You could easily go and search for those and find some malicious files really quickly if you needed to. Speaking of malicious files, and last but certainly not least, one of the other really, really cool features inside of this here is you've also got the ability to kick off a YARA scan if you want to as well. And this is a enormously useful feature because it lets you not only have all the different metadata about executables, but also lets you say, here is a signature for something that is potentially malicious. I want you to go and look and see if that thing exists. So I'll repeat the exact same kind of criteria classification from before. I'm going to pick on all files that have a company name of Microsoft Corporation. We'll go ahead and save that criteria item. I'm going to limit it to 50 across our scan. And I'm going to go ahead and select, we've got a bunch of different YARA signatures already loaded in here. I'm going to select the Cobalt Strike one just to see if there's any sort of masquerading or anything like that. And here's a really cool feature. You can also say when something is found, go ahead and tag it on a match, which allows me to scale, again, my YARA search across all my previous executables or within the limit scope that I set, and then apply tags to them based on some sort of threat intel or some other thing that I may be curious about, or some other type of delineation I want to use, such as a known good or a known bad or a campaign name, or perhaps this is something associated with, identifying a certain product or a certain version. Regardless, I'm going to kick off a really quick scan here. We're going to use our Cobalt Strike YARA repo. or I should say our YARA rules, which we've got loaded here. We're going to limit it to 50, and I'm looking across executables where the name is Microsoft Corporation. I'm not expecting too much to come from this because most times we don't see Cobalt Strike files trigger with Microsoft Corporation. But in this case, our YARA scan was successful. No items and matches were found. 50 of the first ones were scanned, and we're all set. We're good to go. Of course, we could repeat this exact same search and say, instead of equals Microsoft Corporation, go ahead and scan across files that are not Microsoft Corporation. And the ability within the web app to easily and quickly pivot and change those searches around allows you to get really, really powerful with your searches there and get granular in your hunting if you need to. So whether you're on the IR side and you're looking for execution across previous system telemetry, or if you're in the CTI element and you want to see what types of things have executed in my environment, if you're a threat hunter and you want to dig through those executions, there is no better evidence of execution than you're going to get with BinLib or binary library right here. All right, I encourage you to play around with this. It's a great feature. Would absolutely love to hear in our community Slack just how you're finding value in this. Feel free to hit me up there or throw me a DM if you want, and we'll continue talking about it. Until then, have fun and watch out for more new features coming across LimaCharlie.